It's an Emodroncy this week on the Hapless Heroes.
Pregnart's really looking for a statue that's hanging dong.
Hello, everyone. Welcome to another exciting episode of the Hapless Heroes podcast. I'm Francesco, and I'm your host and DM tonight as we deal with a proper Emodroncy. Before we do that, I'm going to intro my cast as we do every week. Starting on my virtual left, we have Dave playing Zero, Valen's Avatar of War.
Evening, everyone.
Mike as Lord and Captain Quinn Southwind.
Always at my service.
Nicole as Boris the Butcher.
Oh, there's no way that many robots are going to fit in my pockets.
Zach as Pregnart.
Wow, look at the very pretty, possibly very destructive colors in the sky.
Phil as Hedrick the Entertainer.
This is not the audience I was hoping for.
And John as Lord Jarrell the Light.
I thought we would have succeeded this time.
Yeah, well, we'll see, I guess. Speaking of success or failure, or maybe something in between, we are currently experiencing what most people would call an invasion. A swarm of Modrons are pouring out from a portal that has sort of... it looks like it's sort of being like, it's sort of at the center of where this convergence is happening. It's blocked out the moon entirely now. I remember describing, these, like, there's some sort of backdrop in that portal of like these like landscapes built on top of these massive like flat gears. And yeah, there are a ton of geometric shapes is the best way to describe it. With from everything from like your cubes to like stars and like star-shaped robot things like Modrons, trying like pyramid shaped, or like there's even ones that are stacked where they have like a square base and then a pyramid top. They're all different types of Modrons, all pouring through this portal. And there was a big booming voice that you had heard that had said, "Citizens of Timeline ZX1249. I think there was, I forgot the exact words I said. I'm sorry, audience. It's been a couple weeks and I make a lot of this shit up. I
think it said that we were breaching temporal protocols.
That's what it was. I knew it was a breach of temporal something, and I want to make sure I had the language correct. But either way, yes, yeah, there's some sort of breach or violation of temporal protocols, but not to worry. Order will be restored. And everyone's panicking. So we're just going to go right back into the action. Any other things to note? Ebenezer and some of the wizards that were surrounding him as they were all witnessing this event unfold are beginning to cast some sort of dome of protection over the immediate area. It seems to be it's looking like it's about to encompass what I would call maybe about a 500 foot by 500 foot area. So like everybody in the general vicinity who was here gathered in looking at this are now being protected, but you can already hear orders being shouted to start mobilizing the rest of the battle mages to go and just protect the people, just start spreading out, start waking people up, start sending all the emergency signals out, get everybody activated and alert right now. This is number one emergency. This is catastrophic. And you can see these it's so far up in the sky, so it's almost like you're just watching this swarm just start to spread out, right, and start to swirl, and they're making their way down. But obviously, it's not they're not right here on top of you quite yet. They're miles in the sky still. What do you do? How do you react?
appear to be flying? Like they have controlled movement, they're not in free fall?
Yes, controlled movement. Also, I will say that Filbert is freaking out as well, and he looks at you and he says, "Is this what happened in whatever the past that you guys came from, or the future? Is this how it went down? Is this how you remember it going down?"
At last time, if I remember correctly, the police were looking for you, but I don't remember robots.
No,
Boris
I mean
was,
the
pointing
apocalypse. The apocalypse you described that happened, that apparently I caused. Was this what happened?
Not as such, no.
I listen. I want to keep helping you, but right now, I need to go. I need to go help my dad. I need to figure out if there's something I can do. I'm going to shed the disguise. I'm sorry. It's just I think that we have bigger problems now. He's going to need his wand, and I have it right here. And he holds it up.
Sounds like that's for the best.
Boris
understand.
quickly snatches the wand and runs.
No,
course
you
he
have to make
does.
me a sleight of hand check, please.
Boris tries to snatch the wand from Filbert.
Okay, yep, that makes more sense. I like the attempt. Please, what is your roll result?
Sleight of hand. Oh, that's not great. 26.
That's terrible. that is an awful sleight of hand.
Your roll
Well-
is bad and you should feel bad.
Not just because the roll was a great number doesn't mean the result is a great thing. You snatch the wand, and the second your fingers touch it, you feel almost like this electric shock. I need you to make me a Constitution saving throw, please.
Real great at these, maybe. Let's see. Wait, do I have anything that affects these? Just double checking. Nope. Wisdom saving throws. Ooh, yes. 18.
An 18 is not enough to resist the enchantment or protection enchantment that's on this particular wand here. This is the wand of the most powerful wizard you know of.
Mm-hmm.
You are going to take some thunder damage, or lightning damage, I should say, so just bear with me a moment.
Cool.
You are taking 15 lightning damage, and the wand explodes out of your hand and drops to the ground. And Filbert goes, "Well, that certainly will get someone's attention. It's my dad's wand. It's only, only people he... Never mind, I don't have time to explain this. Just trust me."
But that hurt.
And he picks up the wand again. He, throws the wig off in, dramatic fashion behind him, and he just starts sprinting towards Ebenezer.
Should we join him to confer with the world's foremost wizard?
I was thinking we would discuss amongst ourselves what could possibly be done at this point, or potentially just eat the fish if it gets out of hand.
Well, we know that's the fallback, but I'm not so sure. Is this happening the same way it did in the last loop, or was that convergence looking different and this is now an alternate?
I specifically described that it looked different.
Yeah,
I
this
was
does not
very clear that this looked
appear
different than
to
last
be
time.
what was supposed to happen.
Well, could it have been our looping and re-looping drew their attention, that somehow they are aware of these temporal protocols that we are breaking, and I'm not even so sure we're in the same timeline every time we reset. I mean, dimensionally, things can play out lots of different ways, and every time we reset, how are we so sure that we're going back to the same dimensional timeline?
Jaral shrugs and looks at Zero.
Both good points. I think we need to stay in this timeline until we can ascertain for sure whether or not our actions have anything to do with that. Our alternative would be that we have two different problems that are going on at once. On balance, our mucking around with the timeline might be the more reasonable option.
I will need to interrupt you for just a moment. And can I just have everybody make me perception checks, please?
Come on, Jarrell. See nothing.
I'm just going to go around. So starting with 0.
0 has a 9. I've been caught monologuing.
That's fair. Love that. Quinn?
14.
Boris?
31. I am the universe.
I could see how colors taste. Zach? Or I'm sorry, Pregnart?
5.
Wonderful.
He's tasting a color.
Hedrick?
Hedrick's watching Pregnart taste a color with also a 5.
Oh, wonderful. And Jarrell?
Yeah, definitely caught up in Zero's monologues.
My favorite and also scariest thing is when Boris is the only one who notices things, but that's kind of her shtick. She notices everything. Boris, there's something else happening in the sky right now. Adjacent to, it's hard to determine distance because we're talking about looking up in the sky. So this could be like thousands and thousands of feet right apart, right? But there appear to be other shapes starting to form, like almost like magical, like almost like there's some sort of magical energy starting to form in 2 other spots in the sky, almost like creating almost like a triangle now of like potentially forming portals. Like you have the one in the center where the convergence is, and then almost like coming down in like an arc a little bit lower are now 2 portals across from each other. So if you're looking at like where all the Modrons are coming out of directly overhead, you would look, I guess, to your I don't know, say you're facing north. If you look to your west, there's one starting to form on your west and one starting to form on the east, across from each other, a little bit lower in the sky. It's hard. You can barely make out the shapes right now because it seems like they're sort of still just in their beginning stages, right? You caught this like pretty much right away as it was starting to happen. One of the portals appears almost like circular, like maybe, or I would say more like a elliptical, and the other looks more like a straight line, almost like a tear.
Is the tear the east one or the west one?
The tear is the east. The like oval shaped one is in the west. Another thing you notice, Boris, because of your impeccable perception roll.
I mean, it wasn't a 20, but
it was a 31.
20. Yeah.
Descending from the stairs of the tower, like out from the tower, are 2 people that look oddly familiar, but like significantly younger than when you remember seeing them last. But still, like you're having trouble making sense of it because like this is 160 years in the past. There's no fucking way that these 2 people would be here right now. Jarrell wouldn't have noticed it, but if he was paying attention, he might have seen this too and been a bit shocked. You have a man who looks like a young, full head of haired version of Supreme Archcleric Pope Popeson, and one Archcleric Bronson. However, they are just wearing your typical scholarly mage robes. Their hair is significantly darker and more full, and their faces not wrinkled or, like aged with time at all. And they appear to be descending with haste down the tower steps and heading straight to the ley line structure.
Okay, that's it.
Now, Boris, there was because there was something you had noticed, right? I remember there was one thing you had noticed way back when you had followed Jarrell when he was meeting with the Supreme Archcleric.
That's Pope Popeson, right?
Yes, there was that. You had noticed something about him that only you knew. So like you like kind of you were intimately familiar with what he looked like, and this is sort of like you would literally like that's him, but like full head of hair and like not aged at all.
Yeah, I definitely
not wearing any sort of popely robes by any means. Like he's dressed like a wizard.
Okay, let's see. I noticed before the door closed that Supreme Archman, those are my notes from very early, Nicole. Taking notes for Boris this episode. Supreme Archman had reached towards the, yep. I don't know if did I share this? Or is this something that's still only
Of course
I
you
know?
didn't. Does that even need to be asked?
Of course.
You have never said a word about this since I revealed it to you. Because you are now doing what Quinn used to do early on in the days of this show.
Mm.
And what Pregnart kind of does accidentally.
Yeah, but accidentally. Pregnart doesn't intend to withhold information. We specifically make him do that because it's like, does he have the actual cognitive ability to relay this properly?
Well, this
There's
was
just,
super early.
there's just a
Boris-
pregnant filter. Okay.
Boris
Yeah.
didn't really trust everybody yet, right? Like, she was literally spying on Jarrell when this happened, so...
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, okay. So, Boris seeing and recognizing, because
Both of these individuals.
both of them. I don't even remember who Cleric Bronson is, but Boris
The
recognizes.
dude you fought at the top of the spire.
Oh, okay, the one that I got my cool sword from.
The cursed one.
Yeah.
No, that was from the doppelganger of Jarrell, but yes, I
Yeah,
guess
but I mean,
that was part of the
indirectly.
same
Yeah.
encounter, yes.
Yeah, so Boris is going to notice this. I guess, I don't know, the circles first, and then the guy's running down the stairs, and she's just going to kind of, like, walk into the discussion that's happening, like, among our group, and clap a couple of times. You know, yo, I know you guys are enjoying this whole philosophy shebang, but, like, the arch cleric man, Popey dude is here? And, like, points directly at where they're running.
At this point, both individuals now have their backs towards all of you. So, Boris currently is the only person who really got a clear look at either of their faces in the I guess, like, the chaos that's happening around you.
Were they both human?
Yes.
Popeson? Popeson is here? And
Yeah.
Jarrell gets pretty excited, is trying to look.
Jarrell, because you are intimately familiar with your faith, I want to make sure that I temper your excitement a little bit. You know that Supreme Archcleric Popeson wasn't even born yet when the upheaval happened.
That's
He
why
came
he's
into
confused.
power and took over from the previous Supreme Archcleric after they had died. But yes. Just so you know, right? Like, because you would know when the Supreme Archcleric was born. It's probably some part of the history of your faith that you would just learn about because you grew up in the church. Definitely not alive now.
Right.
There is no Church of Valen now.
Valen is alive, but
Maybe she's probably but she might just be a person.
Right.
It's a normal
Can
person.
I tell that it's him?
You can't, not from this angle, and you would never. I don't know if you. I mean, I'm not sure if you, especially from the back of someone's head, recognize this person as someone who is not as aged as they were, like by a significant amount. Like, these people look like they might be in their like late 20s, early 30s.
Now, what were they? They were coming down.
They were coming down the step. Well, what Boris saw was them exiting from the tower, descending the steps down, and running towards the ley line structure. But I mean, with what you're all seeing, lots of people are running around everywhere and just trying to like find somewhere to take cover. Like, people are panicking. There's like some of the prefects are just trying to calm people down because just tell them to stay in the dome of protection. Like, you're going to be safe here. We're trying to figure out what the hell's going on. Because like they're not letting anybody leave. So it's just a kind of a chaotic situation right now, and like this swarm is just every moment is getting closer and closer.
Boris can see Jarrell just like standing there and kind of staring out and not really, seeing the face that I saw. So she turns to Zero then and says, Zero, the sky's ripping in half. You deal with that, and points towards the west. Then looks at Hedrick, I think. Hedrick was the other person involved in this conversation before I jumped in. So, Hedrick, there's a other thing going on that way, and points towards the west, the circle, vaguely. Hopefully he sees it too. And then
sky.
Yeah, in the sky. And then grabs Jarrell by the hand and just goes, we gotta go, and starts like tugging him in the direction of the Pope.
But
Cleric.
he's not the Pope yet. He's just the Popeson.
But his first name is Francis. It's Francis. Francis Popeson.
I have Popes. Oh, right, yeah.
Right.
Well, we call him. He's the right.
Yeah.
He's the essentially the Pope.
Yeah,
Green
he's
Art
just
quote,
cracked
unquote,
now, though.
Popeson.
Right, quote unquote.
Frankie Popeson.
Frankie
Right.
Popeson.
I start dragging Jarrell towards the vampire cleric.
I like how Boris is giving more directions than our leader, Captain Quinn, over here.
Ooh. I mean, I didn't perceive any of this, so.
So, it appears we have a few different things going on.
Yeah, and at this point, Zero, I mean, like you emoted
Yeah,
in
no,
real
Zero
life,
was saying
like
that
looking
out
up.
loud.
Yeah, but you emoted in real life, like looking into the sky as you were saying that. You now are also seeing, right now, a little bit of this, like, this swirling energy. It's getting a little bit brighter. You can actually start to see some colors. So the the more oval, like, looking portal appears smoky, and just like it's kind of this like very dark color, but it's darker than the night sky, so you can see that almost like, you know, juxtaposed against the backdrop of the starry sky, right? Because it's really bright right now, just with all the light and magic and shit happening up there. And then this like almost like, you know, vertical rift is glowing faintly green.
Faintly green.
So green, and that was the west, was the rift, right?
Rift was east. Oval was west.
Oh, okay. So I've got those backwards. It's in the
This-
west, that's why.
The
Hedrick
West,
remembers when we faced off with Bronson at the top of the tower, he tried casting Force Cage on him to the point where he just dragged his finger in midair, creating a rift, and was able to escape this Force Cage. Does that rift on the right resemble that at all, just on a larger scale, or?
Not so much. I mean, in that it's vertical, yes. In that it's magical, absolutely. But exactly the same, hard to tell. Very hard to tell. You may have to make an Arcana check, but even then, I'm not sure if. Yeah, I mean, you could try.
Hedrick make a check to see whether or not that green sort of emulates or resembles the same kind of green that we saw coming from Ebenezer's fleet in the future, where everything was
Sure.
kind of like a.
Yeah, I mean, feel free.
Okay. 15 on the die and
Arcana.
plus 2, 17 total.
Definitely similar in nature. There's something a little bit more to this, though. But that green is very, like that hue of green is very similar to that almost like ghastly type stuff you were seeing from, like Ebenezer's, like almost like proxy army, right? Because like he was never actually truly present for most of that.
And Hedrick's relatively a simpleton when it comes to the arcane, so he knows we're facing off against Vecna, undead, necromancy, and then also Ebenezer, somewhat like, you know, he's more like construct undead, where he's imbuing souls into stuff. So he's trying to make a connection, and I'm not sure if Boris instructed him to run to the east or the west. He is trying to follow her direction. And he's going to yell out to Jarrell as they're dashing away, "Don't forget about your sending stone if you have to contact us. We can only use it once, though."
So yeah, make it worth it. That's right, because Jarrell, I believe, has one sending stone and Hedrick has the other from the pair.
Yeah.
25 message, or 25 word message, I believe, is what you can send with it. Anyways, yes. So okay, we have essentially Boris and Jarrell heading towards the like ley line structure. We have Zero and Pregnart kind of hanging back. Well, actually, everyone else kind of hanging back a little bit and trying to figure out and just like looking up. I want to let's deal with the people who are hanging back for a second. What are you doing? Are you trying to follow? Like, does anyone want to try to follow Jarrell and Boris, or are you guys trying to like hunker down here and come up with a different plan?
I'm Pregnard is definitely following Jarrell and trying to figure out what is going on. through context clues.
Honestly, that might be the best thing to do, is let's get the rest of us behind it unless somebody wants to run off on a different one. Those other two things are far up enough in the sky where they're not exactly impacting us right now. I think we'd like to see what's coming out of them, and honestly, I came into this thinking we were going to have to reset, and now I'm starting to think this is exactly the place we need to be. Or at least
Jarrell
the place
still has
that
the
one was
fish.
set.
Just to make sure we're keeping track, right? Jarrell also still has the fish.
As far as I know, yeah.
Yeah, I know it wasn't me.
Probably set it on a table during the hamstercism, but you still have the fish.
I want to say it's like almost. I'm not sure when I would have had time to do it, but like fashioned in such a way where it's like almost like in a water bottle attached to my hip at this point.
When we were at the splash pad.
Sure. So describe to me the container that this goldfish is in, please.
I'd say it's pretty damn close to the same container as it was, just with kind of like anti-splash.
Well,
but
the
still
container it
breathable
was
hole.
in, the container it was in was a fish bowl
Right,
filled with
right.
water. So,
Yeah. So it's like that, only it's got kind of like an anti-splash like kind of lid on it, but with
Sure.
enough holes where it could still breathe, the fish could still breathe, and just kind of like a rope.
Okay, I'm sorry. I just want to make sure you understand what you're saying. The fish don't come up for air. Like,
I think you still need to have a hole for the air to get in.
yes, right. I know, but it's just like, it's funny to me, right? Because it's like, like it's an aquatic creature,
Yeah.
right? With poking holes in the top, right? I mean, I understand. I mean, you can't just create a pressurized environment and expect that fish to like.
Hedrick
This is
actually
not
took
any
care of this.
ordinary fish. Oh, did you?
Yeah.
Couldn't you like
Hedrick-
divinely imbue the water with oxygen or something like that?
He could purify it.
There's no specific spell for that, I guess.
No, Hedrick was worried that the fish was going to get out of the bowl and into the splash pad, into the wade pool.
Ah,
So
that's
while
right.
Jadrell was napping, he went over and wrapped just like a bit of cloth with like a
like
rope
a band or
balance.
something. Yeah, perfect.
Just to keep it physically in there, but air can still pass through.
I like it. We'll do that.
That sounds good.
Okay, but so just to be clear, Jarrell still has the fish. It's gonna be important to keep track of, just in case. But yeah, so this stuff is all happening. Everything seems to be happening. That announcement again from that booming voice in the sky repeats itself. Same tone and timbre as before, almost like just very robotic, right? Very machine-like. There's not really any sort of emotion behind this voice at all.
Is everybody now following Boris and I?
Yes, it seems like it.
Okay.
So you guys are making your way towards the ley line structure. There's a bunch of people like kind of rushing around. Like part of this protective bubble does, encompass at least like the base of this structure, and you can see that these two people that Boris had pointed out are moving around to the other side of the structure. They're trying to get out of like eyesight, I guess, from where everyone else seems to be gathered in the square. So Boris,
does Darrell
I'm assuming you're.
Yeah.
Jarrell, you can make me another perception check as they're like rounding the corner, because Boris is like tugging your hand and like pointing, like, "Hey, it's them! It's them over there."
Oh, I got an 18.
Hey, when it comes to Francis Popeson, that's a harder one for you to like put together right away. But Bronson, you will never forget that face, because that's the person who took your worst fear and made you fight it. So, yeah, that guy looks a lot very, very familiar, just younger, and not wearing cleric robes at all.
Do I know his first name?
I don't even know if I don't know if we ever said it in the show. Does anyone remember? Do I have to go back and listen to that? I'm gonna feel bad if I don't do continuity here. But
I don't really. I mean, I could just say, Joe would say, Archclerk Bronson, Popeson, Francis Popeson, is that you? He's like yelling as he's trying to cross catch up.
They're
with
so
them.
they're so far away. You're not sure if they heard you, but they don't respond to you calling their names.
Sure.
Hedrick will try to catch up to Jarrell and turn on his amplifier.
Yeah, I mean, you guys aren't too far behind. You're maybe a few steps, right? Like, they just kind of got that head start. You guys all looked at each other and were probably like, yeah, we should probably follow them. And we moved, right? Like, I mean, like, that discussion took a little bit, but really, like, the actual, like, those actions probably all happened within, a few seconds from each other. So you're not too far behind.
I feel like it would have taken a few seconds for Boris to have actually gotten Jarrell into, like, an actual run from the initial, like, we gotta go, tug.
Right.
Yeah.
You're very fast and light on your feet. He's got a lot of heavy armor on that he has to maneuver in, so...
Yeah, now that Jarrell sees them too, I let go of his hand and just, book.
Yeah, Boris, you are like just full sprint, right? Heading in their direction. I'm going to say you guys are about 100 feet from there. And before, just so that we can kind of establish a nice order of how things are going to go down, I'm not necessarily saying that there's combat happening right this second, but we're going to roll initiative.
But I haven't even made my surprise tackle yet.
You're not going to catch up that quickly.
They're not going to see me before I tackle them.
There could still be a surprise that happens, but it's gonna because they aren't necessarily knowing that you're there. Zero, what is your initiative?
7.
Quinn?
17.
Nice. Boris?
23.
Pregnart?
12.
Okay, Hedrick?
15 with this +4, but I don't see anything. I think I have to change it to +3. I'm not really sure why it is that. I would say 14 is the number.
Okay. And Jarrell?
3.
It's pretty typical of this group. So, Boris, it's you. They are already kind of rounding the corner. I'm gonna say you're about 100 feet away from where they are now, like where they had just kind of turned the corner. It looks like they are heading towards though where the edge of this protective bubble is. Like this protective bubble will pretty much reach the base on the far side of this structure, but it doesn't really extend much further past that. So it appears that they are making their way outside of this protective dome.
Okay. I'm still chasing them.
Yep, just letting you know. But are you dashing? You're like 60 feet essentially?
Yes.
Okay. That's good. You could getting a little further up, you can see that they're just sort of towards the edge of the bubble at this point. And they're like looking up into the sky, and they're not really looking behind them right now. They haven't noticed you, but you are, I'd say probably because they also, you're about 40 feet, I guess, from where they are currently standing.
Cool. Still dashing.
You have visual. Okay, yeah. I mean, you can't go any further this turn, but I wasn't sure if you had any other actions you wanted to perform.
Oh, yeah. I ready my. Is dagger the right answer? Do I have something funnier to ready?
Rubber chicken.
I don't think I have a rubber chicken.
Missed opportunity.
Yeah, right. I could have put that on the list at some point. I don't think I have a lasso either.
See, Fran, this is the problem when you ignore encumbrance. There's just way too much inventory.
Listen, I'm not
It's because I have
ignoring encumbrance.
areas. I have, my chunk of inventory that's for this specific timeline that will disappear, and then I have my inventory from before that comes with me and reappears each time. Yeah, I just ready my dagger. That seems like the right thing to ready. I've got it in my hand in case I need to use it. And just,
Yeah, I mean, they're 40 feet away from you. I'm not sure, how far you can throw that thing.
I can throw it that far, but not well.
It would be a disadvantage, right?
Yes.
Okay, fair. So I guess what are the conditions then for you to throw it? If they somehow decide to turn around and run towards you?
Yeah, if they decide to come around or turn around and run towards me, or if for some reason, like, a magic portal opens directly in front of them and they look like they're going to disappear for all eternity out of my ability to access that. Like, it's there for a Hail Mary. situation.
Yeah, that's fair. And actually, hold on a second, because you can dash as a cunning action, I believe, correct?
Oh, I think I can.
Because
I
no. What I mean is that you dashed, therefore you are actually allowed to prepare an action, because normal people can't do that. Right? You could dash as your action typically, but you get to do that as a cunning action, so you still have your action, which is why I was, just making sure, that's how the rules work.
Yeah, I was thinking more as a bonus thing. I just put my dagger in my hand, not so much actually prepared to. But either way, let's go with what you said. We're good.
Yeah, that's how preparing attacks works. So you're essentially using you're saving your action to be used on your reaction. All right, that sounds good. Well, we're on to, I guess, Quinn then. I mean, you guys were all grouped up, right? Like Boris was just slightly ahead of you guys, but she dashed her way up within. She can at least see the two people that you're focusing on. I mean, there's people all behind you, right? Everyone's kind of running around. You might have caught the attention of someone at least heading in this direction, just because obviously this is not where most people are running. But no one's really interacting with y'all just yet.
Yeah, I would say that I probably, I don't know if I ready a weapon. I mean, I guess I see Boris do it, so I just kind of take the cue because I'm not really sure what's going on at this point. So I pull my rapier out, just to kind of prepare myself. But then I shout to Jarrell, if reckless shenanigans got us into this mess, then why can't we get ourselves out? Bardic inspiration to him. And that's it. I'm moving with the group, so that's my movement.
God,
Okay.
I love that you see me pull out a tiny dagger hidden in my hand, and you're just like, sword time!
Yeah. I assume we're chasing down a villain.
And not to mention, if any of you have looked in the sky, this is what us military folk might refer to as a target-rich environment.
It is sword time.
You have reason to be under arms right now.
Yeah, because there's literal potential death raining from the sky right now.
Hey.
So, that sounds good, Quinn. We'll mark that as red, but you do move up towards where Boris is. Okay.
Yep.
We are now moving to Hedrick.
First thing he wants to do is he sees Boris dashing away. He's going to inspire her.
Wonderful.
In the evening, evil is walking the baroness of Riverford stalking, and when her dagger slashes, her victims go.
Very.
And,
Oh, that's
he wants
solid gold.
He wants to get to Jarrell and ask him, "Do you trust me?"
Of course.
He's going to grab his hand, or at least touch his pauldron, and cast Dimension Door. And he wants to get 5 feet behind Bronson and Popeson, not so that we're appearing in front of them, but so that we are directly behind them.
I'll say that with the way that they rounded the corner, I could probably put you within 10 feet. Yeah, within 10 feet.
Okay.
Just, because they moved ahead and then off to the side, right? So there's that little bit of, angles and stuff. So yeah, you appear right at that, right around, I say corner, this is a circular type, area, right? But I guess what would be a corner to you in that they're out of line of sight. But yeah, boom, you're 10 feet behind them.
Perfect.
There's some of those same I think that at this point casting magic here, no one's gonna really start giving you a lot of shit.
Yeah, if they want to take the time to lock me up, I'll do whatever I can to evade them. But
no, I think that now is now is probably the time where it is warranted to just free use. Let's just this is a time of emergency. So, yep, boom, you appear behind these two individuals, and the sound of the the spell going off does turn them around. But we'll deal with their reaction when it's their turn, which it is not. It is Pregnart's turn.
Can Pregnart see the Popeson and the other person?
No, not from where you are. You'd have to dash up to where the rest of them are at. Well, that old Pregnart noggin is working.
Yeah, I'm gonna do that. Pregnart dashes up to where the rest of them are.
Okay, any bonus actions, anything else you are doing, or just getting in position and waiting for next turn? And listen, folks, just for the people in the audience who, I mean, at this point, you've heard a lot of combats and other, situations like this we've done. Like, sometimes it's perfectly fine to just like get in position and be ready for your next turn if you are, not in like a prime position to like take actions. Like, that's perfectly acceptable.
I'm not gonna do any bonus action. That's it.
Yeah, that's fine.
Just a vanilla dash.
Yeah, totally fine. You're up with the group. You'll probably be able to do plenty of stuff on your next turn, but until then, we are going to move now to 0.
Well, it's one of those times. My toolkit doesn't give me a ton of things to do, so what we will do is have Reason out and hip fire ready. It's not exactly shouldered, but where I need it for when I need it, and we are going to make our move, and we're going to make our dash, and we're just going to get as close to the action as we can.
Sounds good. And then we're going to go to, let's see, I guess you and I have to roll off technically. Actually, no, wait, the enemies would go before you because your initiative bonus is less. That sucks for you, buddy. The people you, I guess, are futurely known as Francis Popeson and Archcleric Bronson, have spun around, right? As they've seen now Jarrell and Hedrick just dimension door, and now they actually see that there's 5 of you gathered there. Actually, no, everybody made it up. Yeah, all of you there. You probably made your move except for, because Jarrell's there too. So, they see the group of you.
You said we were, for me, at the end of my run, I was still 60 feet away while I was still running.
I said 40.
40 feet away.
Yeah. So you have a group of you 40 feet away, and then 2 people 10 feet away, and they're like startled. They're just like, "You there, state your purpose!" Like they hold their wands out at you, like, this is restricted area. Like, if you take another step, we will not hesitate to put you down. And they are going to ready an action. Both of them. Jarrell, it is your turn.
Yep. Popeson, Bronson, it is I. You might not recognize me. Lord Jarrell the Light, you look so young. What is going on here?
Okay, we're going to break for a moment for a conversation. We're going to go back to the top of initiative order after Jarrell's, this is conversation, Jarrell's turn here, but we're just going to kind of take a break in time where more time is now passing, right? We're not in, this is a soft initiative break, we'll call it. He says, they look at each other like, who the hell are you talking about?
Are you the same that I know? Are you still the followers of Valen?
Who? Listen, there is a crisis. You should just go get safe. You need to leave right now. This is not this. You should be nowhere near this structure. Follow the instructions from Ebenezer and the rest of the staff. They'll keep you safe. But you should not be here right now. You are reaching the boundaries of safety. Get out.
Are you
leave
from now?
What do you mean? What kind of question is that?
That's a good question.
You are wasting our time and disrupting. You turn around and leave right now.
Does when I use divine sense, what do they see, or do I do anything?
So divine sense it's more like, because for you that's like a feeling, right?
It's like a spider sense, right?
It's something within. Yeah, you have to activate it, right? You have to focus on it. But it's not a spell, right? It's an ability. It's an inherent ability you have. So it would work differently. You're not chanting anything or whatever. You might maybe say a silent prayer, maybe, but it's not something that's necessarily overtly present, right? Just no gesticulation necessarily, or it's none of that's necessary for this.
Well, then I'm gonna use it real quick. Just because that's Jarrell's go-to every time anything weird like this ever happens.
No, you got nothing.
But nothing else around the 60 feet either. Like there's no active
consecration or desecration
lurking.
No.
Jarrell just has this weird, dumb, confused look on his face.
Dude, like everything is being like, this is just like crumbling before you here, because they have no idea who you're talking about when you drop those names.
They didn't know their own names.
They had no idea who you were talking about.
When he called them by name?
Yeah.
Yes. They had no idea. They're like, who?
Jarrell thought that he had beaten his fear of doppelgangers.
And it's back again. All right.
And now he's questioning himself. Yep.
Okay, they repeat themselves. Leave now.
Let us help you. Jarrell pulls out the sword of justice, which always looks.
Please drop
amazing.
your weapon. And they make me a, what is it? I guess it would be a strength saving throw.
Oh, that's not too hard for me.
Would his aura affect them? Because technically they cannot be frightened even of him.
I don't even know if I want to dignify that with an answer. We're just gonna go with what's happening right now, because I can't.
I'm gonna use just in case, because I do not want to drop the sword of justice. It's not a thing I would do. Oh, okay. I got a 23.
23 is good enough. You do resist whatever magic they attempted to use to disarm you. And the other guy goes, like he looks and sees that spell failed, and he says, he looks at you, and then he just says, drop, and he casts command on you.
That's an intelligence save?
Wisdom save.
Okay, that's a little bit better for me.
And you have Bardic Inspiration.
I already used Quinn's.
Oh, you used it.
Oh, you used it?
I got another 23.
Yep, you beat the spell save DC. So, yeah, you are unaffected by this. And now we're going to go back to initiative because you are hostile.
Is it still my turn?
Yes.
Jarrell will put his sword away.
They prepared their actions, right?
Yeah.
Those were their reactions.
Yeah.
So now, yes, we're back to you.
Jarrell will put his sword away and again look very confused at what the hell's going on.
Okay, you did get them to kind of like almost drop their guard slightly with you sheathing your sword.
Right. I'm trying to help. Why are you attacking me?
We told you to leave, and then you pulled out a weapon. Leave now, or we will have to take more decisive measures. This is your last warning. All of you.
Having already beaten 2 of their spells, Jarrell just kind of shrugs, looks at Hedrick, and there's nothing we can do, really, it seems, to talk them into this.
On the other hand, I may have something up my sleeve.
You know we can hear you, right?
Are we still in initiative?
Jarrell is not
it was
going
a
to
soft
attack.
break.
Has his sword away. That's the end of his turn. Jarrell's not going to do effectively anything except for the divine sense and try to help.
So I guess the question is now, Boris, before we get to your turn, are you going to take your reaction with your prepared action?
I'm still 40 feet away, so no.
Yes.
No,
okay.
At this point, Jarrell's life is not presently in immediate danger.
It's not in danger.
Well, I still have a turn coming up, though, before they can do anything again. So, it's not immediate danger. I got time to get closer, is what I'm saying.
Okay. Well, it's your turn. You're going to advance then.
Well, yeah, because they're tied up with Jarrell right now, right? They're otherwise occupied with another
conversation, not within 5 feet.
They're not within 5 feet of Jarrell?
No, they're within 10 feet.
Right.
Oh,
It's almost as if I had tried to create some sort of mitigating circumstances here, so there would be a little bit more of a thought of positioning. It's taken me 6 years to try to start picking apart all of your easy I win buttons.
I mean, I wasn't even going for easy I win.
Oh, and I have advantage against spells. God damn it!
I guess it didn't matter.
Phil, so do you. There you go, bud. Hedrick, so do you.
That's part of your aura?
Yeah.
I didn't know that.
It's reading the character sheet.
It's the Holy Avenger. You can't be frightened because of my aura protection. You have charisma, my charisma added to your saves, and we have advantage against checks against spells.
I mean, yeah, okay.
Sweet.
I would still advance. I also wouldn't have really stopped advancing during that entire conversation, but weird time freeze means that I guess I just stood there for that whole conversation. Otherwise, I would only be 10 feet behind Jarell right now, but pretending I just stood there for the length of that conversation without trying to hide at all. I still run and attempt to tackle Cleric Bronson by jumping over Jarell's shoulder. Like, just like a full-on, like, leap tackle.
So you, a 14-year-old girl, is going to try to tackle this grown-ass man. We're going to do some competing strength checks as you are attempting to grapple.
I have a run and tackle happening, but yes, valid.
It's still the same check.
Do I need to acrobatics check for leaping over Jarell first?
No, because that, we just kind of assume you succeed, seeing as how you could, the minimum roll a 23 on that check?
Yay, the first half is graceful.
We got, on my end, a 13 on the strength check.
For just general strength, eh? That's what we're going for right now.
Just strength.
I sure am feeling lucky right now.
She says, rolling her dice nervously.
A 10.
Unfortunately, it's not enough to resist this person's strength. I mean, they're wizards. They're not particularly strong, but I mean, enough to at least, not resist the tackle attempt from a 14-year-old girl. And they just throw you to the side. And now very much we are in combat. So, Boris, unfortunately, that attempt was a failure. You were kind of cast to the side, but you're still 5 feet away from, the two of these dudes. So we're gonna move now to Quinn's turn. Battle stances now, because these guys are ready to strike. And thankfully, though, you are not within eyesight of the other wizards, so they're not going to see you, at least at the moment, actively engaging in combat with people who may have been considered their colleagues. There are still, the walls that surround this area, but obviously people's attention is occupied elsewhere right now. If we start seeing tons of flashy spells, explosions, and things like that, yeah, you might start drawing more attention your way. But right now, this whole encounter is kind of contained in this area that you guys are gathered in.
I'm gonna cast Confusion. But I don't have it in front of me, so just give me 1 second.
That's a good one.
I'm just trying to think of something that's less flashy, even though, I like flash, but... okay. Why is this not... nope, that's still not the right website. Sorry. I don't have my phone in front of me. That's my bad. All right, here we go. Okay, so I'm gonna roll a d8, and depending on what I roll, I think I only can target one of them. Each creature in a 10-foot radius. Okay, so I cast Confusion 5 feet behind them, so it doesn't hit.
Get Boris.
Yeah, Boris.
So it would be Boris that it would also affect otherwise. Yeah, you can probably place it in such a way. Because you just target an area, you don't target a person.
Correct. Yep, a sphere,
Yeah.
10-foot radius. So
Okay.
they have to do a wisdom saving throw.
Okay, I'll make 2. 1 sec. Wait, D20. You just check their sheets again, just to make sure that I don't overlook any, fun stuff that I tend to overlook in these moments about resistance to spells and things of that nature. So just a second.
I'm still trying to figure out whether Jarrell considered these people allies or not.
Well, your friends are starting to attack them, so... All right, we have... Oh, that's a D12 that I just rolled. Come on, Fran, you know the shape of dice. Been doing this for a long time. What's wrong with you? Okay, we have... You said it was... What's the saving throw again? Remind me?
Wisdom.
Okay.
Mm-hmm.
We got a 19 and a 17.
Okay. 19 succeeds, 17
That's
fails.
Popeson. Bronson fails.
Okay, so do you want to roll the d10 or do you want me to roll the d10?
You roll the d10.
Yeah, I have everything right in front of me. Okay. Oop. All right, 8. So the creature uses its action to make a melee attack against a randomly determined creature within its reach. If there is no creature within its reach, the creature does nothing this turn. So basically on its next turn, it can't take any reactions at this point, but on its next turn, it has to use its action to attack a randomly determined creature.
Bronson is very confused. Okay, I'll make a note.
And then with my bonus action, I'm going to rock out Jarrell again. Worry not.
Oh, yeah. No, go ahead. You go ahead.
Worry not. When I tell this tale of this moment one day, I'll leave out how you would have failed spectacularly without my help.
Wow.
God damn it, Quinn.
There are 2 types of bards.
The snarky ones and the musical one.
Okay, wonderful.
And so with my movement, then I move, let's say, 10 feet closer. So I'm now 30 feet away.
Sounds good. We got Hedrick next.
And just a reminder, Boris, your inspiration is a D12 from Hedrick. So he sees how ineffectual trying to be diplomatic about this is. He's going to try to cast Hold Monster at 6th level so he can target both Popeson and Bronson.
Ooh.
And they both have to make wisdom saving throws.
Okay. Yeah, they just made 2 of those. One of them failed, so chances are maybe looking okay for you. Let's see. Oh my god. 2 4s on the die. Yeah, they both fail.
So they are considered paralyzed.
Yeah, they sure are.
Duration is up to 1 minute, so that'll at least buy time for everybody else to get closer.
Do they repeat the save? I forget. I think I forget if Hold Monster requires that. We've used it a bunch of times, but we tend to overlook it sometimes for like minor creatures.
Mm-hmm. So at the end of each of their turns,
Sounds
they
good.
make another wisdom saving throw.
Love to see it. All right. Well done,
and
Hedrick.
He's going to try to say to him, assure you, we mean you no harm, but we will defend ourselves if you strike us. And as Pregnart is approaching, he's going to use his bonus action to inspire Pregnart. I've had this one for a while.
Yay.
Let's go.
This sorcerer's out of his mind, but makes a sausage so divine. His eyes stick out of his head, casting snacks and blasting wrong, moving your death. This frog is pregnant.
Yeah. Oh, I love that song. I love that song so much. I love that song so much. That is my guilty pleasure dance tune. Pop that on and just dance in the fucking middle of the house. Like, I love that song.
He's just a fake beard and a smile.
Pregnant.
If I were you, I'd take precaution. Anyways, awesome. You, Pregnard, you are very inspired.
D12.
Any other? That's the thing that covers your action economy
Yeah,
for the
I'm
turn.
not going to move anywhere.
Sounds good. Yeah, you like to hang out towards the back and just do the affecting everybody else thing. That's how that bard do. And we're gonna move on now to Pregnart, freshly inspired Pregnart.
All right. I am going to hang on 1 second. I'm looking at my spell sheet here.
You would. I'm waiting for the question. Is there a gazebo nearby?
I'm wondering. I am wondering what inanimate objects
Are
waiting
nearby.
to be animated
I had
are
a
nearby.
feeling you were going to ask that. There are some park benches,
Mm-hmm.
like wooden and like iron, like frames with like the wooden bars that make up the shape and the seat, like your typical park bench, like Central
Yes.
Park bench type thing.
Okay.
There are some planters, like some potted planters with like little like decorative trees in them.
Let's get to I feel like you're waiting to drop something interesting that I'd like to animate.
I mean, I don't know. I gave you two interesting things. I mean, there's bushes, but I don't know that's more like that's animating plants. That's different. Druids can do that.
Oh yeah.
But the pot
Any
itself,
statues? Are there any statues nearby?
I feel like the plaza of like a wizarding tower would have to have some kind of statues
Yeah, it
distributed amongst it of like some great scholars of the past. I will say that it does exist. There's just like statues kind of interspersed like in some of the landscaping and like the flower beds and all that stuff. They're about like the statue of David that we had like the 198, right? Like about that size. Like it's like I don't know how tall would you say that is?
20
including
feet.
including the pedestal, about 20 feet tall, right? Yeah.
Yeah. That sounds good. Well. Yeah, they're within 120 feet.
Yes.
Okay. Well,
One statue is, and the other object that I described as well.
Are they naked statues?
No, they look like they look. No, they look like statues of famed scholars of the of eras prior, right? Of people who retired or are no longer with us. People who were part of the school, great minds of their time, yada yada, philosophers, whatever.
Mutually exclusive. Great scholars can hang dong too.
yeah.
Yeah,
Fran,
the statue.
don't
you know
discriminate.
what? The statue in particular that you're looking at is the statue of one Aristocrates.
Yeah. And he's hanging dong.
He is not hanging dong. He's wearing robes. I never
sounds
said
boring.
he was hanging dong.
Pregnart's really looking for a statue that's hanging dong that he can animate. I don't know.
There are no statues that are hanging dong in this scholarly plaza.
Yeah, we'll see about that once Pregnart animates one of them. All right, yeah. So the one that's within range.
So this is 20 feet tall,
Yeah.
and a huge, which is the highest, like the largest size that you can animate, right? Would be 15 by 15. So while part of this does exist out of those dimensions, you could probably, if you didn't include the pedestal, I guess, yeah, we could do it. I mean, I still like it, so that's what we're going to do that. But I'm just, if you're doing that, you get that one, you just get the statue and nothing else. Well, actually, this is up to 10 non-magical objects, and a huge target counts as 8. So you'd have room for I think it is 1 medium or 2 small objects / tiny objects. Small objects are those that, so like, anything medium or smaller exists in a 5 by 5 cube, like a square space, right?
Right.
Large would be 10 by 10, huge is 15 by 15, gargantuan is 20 by 20 or larger. So one of those park benches could also be animated, or 2 planters.
Oh, I'm just saying. I just want to.
I'm just saying with one casting
object.
though, but with one
Right.
casting you could get
But
all
I thought
3.
you were hands.
Or one statue
you were
and
saying-
2 pocket sausages.
Right. But are you saying that you are disallowing me from casting that with twin spell because of the size limitation?
Twin spell, I think only does twin spell just work with stuff that has multiple targets? Because I feel like there's like a weird stipulation with that. Let me just double check. Sorry, it's been a while since we've used twin spell.
Yeah.
It's it's only when you cast a spell that targets only one creature and doesn't have a range of self. So because of the fact that you're not targeting a creature with animate objects, right? The target for animate objects is technically
Huge.
up to 10 non-magical objects. So the target would have to be 1. You'd have to have 1 target, and then you could twin it and essentially cast it again, but only be able to choose 1 target. Is how I'm going to rule that, because the limitations of twin spell, it has to be a spell that targets only 1 creature and doesn't have a range of self.
Oh wait, yeah, I forgot what twin spell actually meant. Sorry.
Yeah, because then you can spend sorcery points to affect an additional target. Because of the fact that animate objects is a multiple target spell, right? Its target is not 1 creature. The target is up to 10 non-magical objects. I don't think that twin spell would work with it. But being said, you have room to animate more than just the statue. Like I said, you could do 1 park bench or 2 planter pots.
All right, Pregnart is going to animate that nearest statue.
Okay.
And he points it at it. He says,
I name you Cronjongulus.
and he animates it.
The statue springs to life and like steps off of its podium, right? Like off of the base. So now it's just like a walking statue. You could barely see its legs. It's like, it's a stone like a marble statue. So like, like its legs are obscured by the carved robes, right, that it's depicted wearing. So you could just see its feet. So it's shuffling in this sort of weird, awkward way as it's like walking down like this, like the plaza towards you, because of the fact that, again, like it doesn't actually have like that motor like that. It doesn't look like it's actually walking like someone would if they had like like robes around their legs or like a dress or something like that, where you can kind of see the movement of their legs. It's more like toy soldier walking towards you.
Fair enough.
So as long as this is animated, which it looks like it's up to a minute, it has 80 HP, an AC of 10, and plus 8 to hit on its attacks. And when it does hit, it deals 2d12 but plus 4 damage. It has a strength of 18 and a dexterity of 6.
He also points at a park bench and he says,
I name you Fluffy.
Fluffy is a medium creature. It would be medium. It is HP 40, AC 13, plus 5 attack, 2d6 plus 1 damage. All right. They will act on your initiative, so you can tell them, give them a command, charge or whatever. But they are just trying to move towards you now. The park bench gets to you immediately. The statue will take another turn to reach you.
I also, with quickened spell, cast enlarge on Cronjongulus.
I don't think that's going to allow you to cast another leveled spell in the same turn, unfortunately.
I was going to try to sneak that past it.
Not a cantrip. You could do that for a cantrip, but that's the only other spell you can cast this turn.
All
Sorry,
right. Then
them's the rules.
Wait, what did you say? Sorry.
You're only allowed to cast 1 leveled spell per turn. So even if you use Quicken Spell, you can only use it on a cantrip. It's just the limitations of magic in the magic rules.
So
I don't know.
It takes your leveled spell and essentially makes it a bonus action. So
Yeah,
then
so
you
you
use
could've-
your regular action, but you can only cast a cantrip if you're casting a spell.
correct, or use another action, right?
You have any of regular action.
it allows you to free up your action to do something else, and you can use your bonus action to cast whatever leveled spell you're trying to cast. That's kind of the like where that ability shines. But the reason that they limited the amount of leveled spells you can cast in a turn is because spellcasters would be absolutely broken, and no one would want to play any other class.
Then in that case, I use Quicken Spell and I use Message to talk to the guy who people are calling Mr. Popeson.
Sure. Okay.
And I say,
We are your friends. We know you. Stop fighting us.
I think they're allowed to respond, correct? You hear a response. You will pay for your crimes.
uh-oh.
And moving down the initiative.
Paralyzed creatures are incapacitated and cannot move or speak.
Oh, they're not speaking. They're thinking in their minds.
Okay.
Pregnard heard that.
Okay.
No one else heard it.
Yeah.
No
Which,
one can
you know,
overhear.
Yeah, so Pregnard will probably say, "Oh, you're really cool, Pregnard. I like you a lot." Anyways, Zero, it's your turn.
Okay, so
You
approximately
have,
how wide is that alley again?
There's no alley. They're just moving
Okay.
around. They're just moving around the
They just
structure.
went around the corner. I thought they went into something.
No,
Okay, they just
just
went
around.
Okay, there's
So
plenty
you're
of
just out of-
space in there.
Plenty
Alright.
of space, and you have two essentially fish in a barrel that you're staring at because they are paralyzed.
Yeah, we are 40 feet away from them. Is that 30 feet away from the corner then?
It's not like, okay, it's a round structure, so it's not like there's
Okay.
a corner, so you're able
Oh.
to see them just fine from where you're standing.
All right.
It's just that like they're out of view from the general, like where the crowds of people are freaking out.
Okay. I'm going to advance my 30 feet. We will shoulder reason, get it all spun up and stuff like that, and then we are going to hold action. If they break their paralysis at any point, we open fire.
Okay. But prior to them taking hostile action. Well, actually, they would break their paralysis technically at the end of their turn, right? So yeah, you would. Okay, that sounds good.
Yeah.
We're gonna move then to them, and they will end their turns because they are paralyzed and attempt to make the save again. Oh, okay. Yeah. So the first time I rolled this, and I shit you not, right? I had 2 4s right on the die. This time I rolled 2 3s.
Whoa.
They remain paralyzed. Something else that happens though before, as their turn is ending, right? This is a world event. The portals above are much more prominent now. The rift, right? That vertical rift is very pronounced, glowing very green and black. Like it's sort of like black, like sort of this black wispiness with these like green sort of like, it's almost like the, you know how like fire changes colors. It's like blue and like, you know, like those like crazy, you know, like the intense, like where it's most intense, and then as it moves out, it changes to like that orange and red. Similar, except it's black towards the center and now like green wisps, sort of like
Green wisp.
coming off of the edges. And the oval one is also again much more pronounced, and you can almost see like something, you know, coming, like something like very thin, like and almost blade-like, coming out from the top of the vertical rift. Jarrell, it's your turn.
Oh, okay. Jarrell's going to say to them, it appears that your world is ending. If you would like us to not hurt you and assist you, this is your chance. We have a way out of here, so it's really up to you.
Oh, wow.
I'm gonna try to use persuasion on that one.
Okay.
Quinn, you give me advantage or bardic inspiration?
It was bardic inspiration.
But yeah,
So what do I add to that?
it's
think his
D10
is-
for me.
Right. Quinn's is a D10.
Yeah, mine's slightly shorter than Hedrick's. Yeah. Mm-hmm.
That's a 20 total.
You have no idea. They're paralyzed.
Right. But
They
again,
are literally unable to emote or respond in any way.
Yeah, I mean, this is a pretty good showing of strength. If they decide to continue to fight,
I really hope my dice rolls are better next episode because fuck. I'm not trying to make this super easy on you guys. I should have just given them magic resistance, but I'm trying to highlight these are people in the past, right? They're not like what they are in the future.
right?
Yeah, all right, that sounds good. What we're gonna have to do, just because we're getting into a bit of a longer episode here, we're gonna pause the action. Dear audience, sorry, not sorry, but we like to condense these things. We got a lot of stuff happening though, and we're gonna have to figure out how the rest of this unfolds next week on the Hapless Heroes podcast. But in the meantime, dear audience out there, if you like us, you could find us on the internet. We exist in many spaces. You could find us on a lot of forms of social media, just Twitter or Instagram or Facebook or Reddit. If you just look for Hapless Heroes, like that's us. There's no other people calling themselves the Hapless Heroes out there. And if you are, stop.
Quit it.
But those places will take you to, or point you to, where we really hang out most of the time and interact with our audience on a daily basis, and that's our Discord server. We really encourage you to come and just join the conversation, be a part of it. We have a separate channel that's like spoiler tag that you can talk about episodes in and stuff like that. It's pretty simple. You just put the episode number in and then like put your spoiler after that, so we all know kind of where you're at in the show, because everyone's at different places when they're listening to this thing. But we also have all kinds of other discussion channels. We talk about our favorite sports teams and our little cute fuzzy animals and all the other things that people just talk about when we're socializing on the internet. It's really cool. We encourage you to join us. It's a really, really great place. But if you really, really like us, you can leave us a 5-star review or rating on the podcast service of your choice. These days it's all about the algorithm. And when we get those ratings and those reviews and all those things, like it makes our show gets recommended to more people, and we can grow this audience even further. And that's done with your help. And also, we just love reading the nice things you say about us. So if your podcast service doesn't let you do that, we also have a 5-star channel in our Discord where you can say some nice things. We also have an email, just haplessheroes@gmail.com. Just say something nice. We'll say something nice right back to you here on the air. We had somewhat of a review on Discord. I did say I was going to count it. -1 Dexterity said, "This podcast has been the only thing I've listened to every day for 2 months, and now none of my friends want to talk to me anymore. Good luck." When she was talking to somebody about, who just recently joined and started listening to the show. And I said, I'm counting that as a 5-star review. She agreed, so thank you, -1 Dexterity, for your 5-star review, because I think that's wonder. I love it. It makes me so happy. But yeah, you can say some nice things. We'll shout you out like this. It's great. It's just a nice little thing we got going on. But if you really, really, really like us, you could just donate to our Patreon. It's at patreon.com/haplessheroes. We got a bunch of rewards in there. We're clipping bloopers. We got stuff from the past. We got stuff from the now. We got Hedrick songs. We got a whole bunch of stuff out there for you to enjoy and just get even more content from us, your hapless heroes. We just try to figure out some way to say thank you and give back, because you've been all so generous and so wonderful and supporting the show for so long that it's the wind in our sails. It keeps the lights on, and we just can't thank you enough. Honestly, it's just, you're awesome. Thanks, Patreon.
And if you like us right now, you like us, Sally Field, and the whole deal, write a song and make a promotional video called The Hapless Heroes Shuffle, and assemble the remaining members of the 1985 Chicago Bears and have them perform it.
Does it have to actually be a shuffle, or can you just call it a shuffle?
Yeah, just call it the Hapless Heroes Shuffle. And there has to be a song, and the remaining members of the 1985 Chicago Bears have to perform it.
Oh, okay. Well, I guess that's
doable.
It's doable for sure, provided that you could get the 1985 Chicago Bears to agree to do it for you with you.
Money can get you anything.
Yeah, well.
play them the one episode. The one. Then they'll agree to it. Absolutely.
Yeah, that one. We all
any
know
episode with Spanx Mahoney. I think they'll agree right away.
Yeah, definitely will, for sure. Anyways,
Everyone's favorite character.
the
Spanx
best
Mahoney.
character we've ever had, for sure, by a long shot. Anyways, gonna go ahead and outro this cast for you like we do all the time when we try to put things to a close here and not just keep rambling at you. I'm gonna start on my virtual right with John playing Lord Geralt the Light,
Until next time.
Phyllis Hedrick the Entertainer,
These jokers better fall in line.
Zach is Pregnart,
Grandjongulus is my new friend.
Friendship ended with Mr. Bouchonks. Cromjombulus is my new friend.
Cronjongulus.
Oh my
Fran.
god, whatever.
Bouchonks.
Nicole.
Mr.
as
Bouchon
Boris,
still
Nicole
lives forever
as
in my
Boris the Butcher.
Oh man, I really thought that tackle was gonna work.
Mike is Lording Captain Quinn Southwind.
This is the most ominous sky I've ever seen.
And Dave playing Zero Valence Avatar 4.
Good night, everyone.
I'm Francesco, Ben, your host of DM. We'll see you next week as this riveting encounter continues. And maybe the world will end, maybe it won't. We will find out. Bye-bye. I love you. Bye.
Bye.
Bye.